What's going on, guys? Thank you for watching. So today I'm going to throw another recipe video at you guys. Going to be showing you how to make a do-it-yourself pasta recipe. Doesn't require a lot of ingredients. It's also a plant-based meal. Going to be a healthy source of calories, healthy source of protein, healthy source of fiber, and a good meal you guys could throw into your diet routines for anybody trying to live a healthier lifestyle. So if you guys are ready for this healthy recipe, please keep watching. Alright guys, so I want you to grab a solo cup, something to just put this flour in, throw it onto a scale, make sure you tear it out so it doesn't take the weight of whatever device you're going to be using to pour the flour in. And you want to really just keep a ratio of 100 more grams of flour than spinach. So if you want to do 200 grams of semolina flour, or any type of flour you're using, and then throw 100 grams of spinach in, 250 as you saw me use, and then I'm going to throw in 150 grams of spinach. So just keep it about 100-gram difference in between the flour and the spinach. Throw that into a food processor. You'll most likely be blending this for about 3 to 5 minutes, but depending on the type of food processor you own will depend on how fast it will become a dough. So just keep your eye on the food processor, and when you see it starting to look like an actual dough, that's when you know it's done. Once the dough is finished, it'll probably look a little bit like green ice cream. I mean, that's what mine looked like. Once you take it out of the food processor and feel it, you'll realize it's moist, stretchy. You want it to be this type of consistency. And then you're just gonna throw some flour over the cutting board and knead the dough for as long as you can until you create a nice, soft, formed piece of dough to start rolling out the pasta with. Now, I don't know much about kneading. All I know is you fold the shit out of the dough, and then once it's ready and feels like it's in a good consistency and texture to start rolling out the pasta, that's when you can begin that process. There's gonna be a couple methods to madness with this. Throughout me doing this, I was thinking, should I just make, balls and make it like a spinach gnocchi? I was also thinking, should I use a knife to cut out finer pieces so it's easier to roll? And then I was like, you know what? No, this is a homemade meal. I'm gonna actually just rip off pieces and then just do it all myself by hand. This kind of takes a little bit more time, and this is kind of why I stress maybe doing it with other people. It makes it fun for the other person and whoever you're gonna be eating this meal with to help you. Just roll out some of the pasta because it'll obviously expedite the process. But if you're alone like me and you're doing a cooking video and you want your viewers to be able to understand what you're doing the best way possible, you're gonna roll it out all by yourself and kind of show the best way. So this is what I wanted to show you guys, literally just using my hands to roll it out. You could put it in between your hands in the air and roll it out. I mean, whatever's gonna be the easiest process for you guys to achieve these long pieces of pasta for this recipe is best, but you guys see how I do it. You could do it the same way or do it in whatever process is easiest for you and whoever else you'll be preparing this meal with. And guys, don't forget, once you throw these pieces of pasta into the boiling water, they're gonna expand, kind of like a sponge does. So I want you guys to try to get them as thin as possible. This way, once you boil them and they're ready to eat, you're not gonna have huge pieces of green pasta dominating your plate. And as you begin to boil the pasta, guys, grab those cherry tomatoes, that fresh garlic, that onion, and you're gonna start chopping them up. This is exactly all you need for this recipe. I don't even think you would need the onion. I just love onion, and Carly does as well, so I wanted to include that in this recipe. We got brown, orange, and red cherry tomatoes. Tomatoes are super high in lycopene, and the antioxidant itself is better digested in our bodies when you cook tomatoes. So that's something I wanted to include in this recipe. Research also shows diets high in lycopene have a 40% less chance of prostate cancer, and that's really good for men because the rate of prostate cancer in America for men is pretty damn high based on all the junk food and fast food we're exposed to. So that's something to keep in mind when you're cooking with tomatoes, guys. But get your vegetables all chopped up and ready to go for the stovetop, and we'll be moving on to the next part of this recipe. After about 5 to 10 minutes boiling, probably closer to 5, throw the pasta into a strainer, run some cold water over it just to harden it up. Also take this opportunity to Instagram it, Snapchat it, whatever you gotta do. It's pretty, so why not? And then we're gonna fire up the stove and start cooking this pasta with the vegetables. I'm gonna be using avocado oil in the recipe. Avocado oil has one of the highest smoking points to be cooking at high temperatures with. It also adds a nice flavor to the recipe. I know a lot of you out there might not want oil with this recipe or don't want to cook with oil, but you can't deny the fact that it adds a nice flavor to this, and you guys will see that when you cook it. I also encourage you guys to include some type of green vegetable with your recipe. I chose peas because they're high in antioxidants and high in protein, one of my favorite plant-based proteins to cook with. Once you see the vegetables are starting to cook nicely, throw the pasta in there, start to mix it well, throw in your seasonings, and then cook it as much as you want. I like my pasta al dente, so when you guys see a little bit of burn marks on this pasta, no, I did not burn it. I like it that way. Kind of like it a little crispier than normal, so you guys could cook it to your liking, but that's the way I wanted to cook my version of this recipe. Only use 3 seasonings for this recipe: crushed pink Himalayan sea salt, onion powder, and crushed red pepper. So that's the recipe, guys. You guys saw how I made it. Really just figure out your method of how you want to have these. If you wanted the pasta to be thicker than this, thinner than this, you want to make gnocchi with it. I mean, you literally could do anything you want. And it's a plant-based meal packed with protein from the peas and from that spinach. This is one of the coolest and quickest meals I've ever made for myself. I've never really made pasta from scratch, so you saw how easy the process was. So I want you guys to realize these types of meals are possible. Do it for yourself. You don't have to use semolina flour. Use any type of flour you want. I wanted to use semolina flour because semolina flour to me makes the best pasta. My family background is Italian, so I would have been making a mistake not using semolina, and I recommend it to you guys because it's a delicious dough and it absorbs flavor well. It's almost like you made spaghetti out of what gnocchi is. I'm not one to toot my own horn, guys, you know that, but this is pretty damn good. So I'm gonna go eat this now. If you guys have any questions about the recipe, you know what to do. Just go drop me a comment below. And for another video, my name is Brett Cap. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.